357 SIG versus 357 Magnum Underwood Xtreme Defenders. And the 357 is actually listed as an Xtreme Hunter, but it's the Xtreme Defender bullet. I don't know why they list it differently, but I've had a lot of requests to test this particular round. I actually think a couple people sent in some tips to supply the ammo. I don't keep track of names, but thank you for that. And it's weird because this says 68 grain, but when you look up the item number, it says 65 grain. So there's kind of conflicting information on whether it's 65 grain or 68 grain. But it is listed at 2,100 feet per second, which is very, very fast. A lot of people want to see that. That's kind of approaching like terminal shock velocity. So through my 5-inch barrel M&P 40 with the 357 conversion barrel, we're going to see what we get. See how close we get to that 2,100 feet per second. The 357 Magnum, it's rated at 1,700 feet per second, but they do use a 6-inch barrel. I am using a 4¼ inch barrel, but nonetheless, I generally never get even close to rated velocity with Underwood ammo. As where with like Buffalo Bore and a 4-inch barrel, I pretty much always do. So I've noticed that with Underwood, they make really great semi-auto cartridges, and their revolver cartridges could use a little bit of improvement, but they're still pretty powerful compared to off-the-shelf ammo. So I'm going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy I get at the same time. Then I'm going to do my standard 10% clear ballistic test, where we have 4 layers of denim, followed by 3 inches of clear ballistics to represent hitting a pectoral muscle, followed by a 1/4 inch MDF to represent hitting ribs or sternum, and to more clear ballistics, we'll do a shot with the MDF. We'll pull it out and do a shot without it to represent our gut shot. And then I do have some rogue watermelons here that need to be taken out, so I think with those fast velocities, it might do a pretty good job. And then I'll shoot from a little distance at my full-size steel silhouette. You know, I think I'll back up to 75 yards simply because solid copper hitting that steel is probably not the best thing. So I want to reduce its energy as much as I can. So let's get started with this test. All right, I'm actually back about 7 yards from the target because I feel like I have some sighting issues with this gun here, and want to kind of go single action or try and make some adjustments if I need to with these rounds, just because I want to be accurate at a distance. So 1,700 feet per second. Let's see what we get. $14.93. I did adjust this before the video a little bit to the left because it was shooting the right, so the adjustment seemed to help a little. No read. 1483. 1499. 1516. No read. I did pull that one. I felt myself pull it just a little bit to the left. Same thing with this pistol here. I had some issues with it hitting a little bit too far. In this case, I believe it was to the left. So I moved the front sight to the left because that's the only one I could move. So I'm curious to see if this fixed the sighting problem with this. See what we get, how close we get to that 2,100 feet per second. 2261, that shot really low. That might just be me, but that's really close to the chronograph. Let me aim a little bit higher. 2211. No read. 2197. 2211. 2233. I believe that first shot was just me kind of pulling that trigger or jerking the trigger a little bit. So yeah, we're hitting what a lot of experts would call terminal shock, where if a bullet enters tissue, let's say it misses the heart or something like that, if you're at least 2,200 feet per second, the shock wave will still shut it down, basically. So that's pretty impressive. Let's hit our ballistics gel block with these and just see what we get. All right, 357 mag. Let's go through our 1/4 inch MDF. See how this does. All right, let's try our gut shot now. All right, no MDF, just our gut shot. Let's go take a look. All right, so interesting performance there. It looks like with our MDF shot, it dropped down, it hit the bottom of this carpet here. And by the way, I have that carpet just because it's kind of wet out here. I don't want my blocks sliding around. But we got an even penetration of about 20 inches. Actually, it's about 19 inches because this whole thing slid a little bit. Let me try to just move that a little bit closer to where it should be. So yeah, we're right at about 19 inches. With our gut shot there, we can clearly see that this bullet is doing what it was designed to do. That is more damage than what I typically see with hollow points. And here is our impact through MDF. It does look like it's tumbling, and that's probably why it's doing that. You know, with our MDF shot, where there's not quite as much damage with the MDF shot, like hitting ribs or sternum, but you know, the impact where it's just a plain gut shot, pretty good. And our penetration, you know, is at about 21.25 inches with our plain clear shot. So that's pretty impressive. Let's try our 357 SIG now. All right, 357 SIG, 2200 feet a second, 1/4 inch MDF. Let's see what we get. Let's try our gut shot now. One more through the MDF. It does look like it's really just kind of curving quite a bit, which is interesting. So one more through our MDF. Try to shoot a little higher. Now let's try our gut shot. All right, just our gut shot. See what we get. Let's go take a look. All right, so our first shot, interesting, it impacted here, which is fine, but it came all the way down here and it went underneath this block into this carpet here. Bullet's just sitting there. And I would not have known that if I didn't take a look at that. That is a hollow base. That's pretty cool. There's actually a little crimp line around it too, so you could potentially use that in a revolver cartridge. Interesting. Our 357 mag does not have that because it is a much heavier bullet. It's just a flat base, so I don't even really need to take these out to really show the bullets. But with our legitimate shot with our MDF, where we kept it in this block, we're looking at about 18 inches exactly, which is actually pretty perfect. And when we look at the one with no MDF, we're at about 19.5, 19.25, something like that. And again, massive amount of damage right away. I mean, so what we're seeing with this 65 grain, it is a little bit more barrier blind than that 357 Magnum, just from that high velocity. You know, the slower velocity of 357, it kind of slowed it down just a little bit. And it just, you know, it changed the outcome. But when we look at the 357 SIG, it didn't really make any difference. And that is a lot more damage than what I typically see with a lot of rounds. So that's really impressive. Let's take out those rogue watermelons now. All right, watermelon, 357 Magnum. I'm not sure how many shots this will take, so let's see what we get. Let me put those pieces back up. I'm about 8 yards from the target, so let me go single action just for a little bit more precision here. Take out that piece on the right there. Left. Try 357 SIG now. All right, 357 SIG. Let's see what we get. Let's finish this off. 357 SIG. Wow. One more piece. Ah, shot a little bit low. I have a mag left in here, or two. Calls for precision, which I don't have today. Except destroying my bench there. All right, let's shoot from 75 yards and see what I can get with these. 75 yards from the target. Let's see if I can make any shots double action with 357 mag. Something's a little off there. Let me go single action. See if I can focus a little more. All right, looks like it hit pretty much where I aimed, so that double action shot was just me. Same thing here, my glasses are so fogged up all of a sudden from breathing, trying to focus, so I'm gonna have to take them off, even though I generally don't like to, and go single action. All right, let me aim a little bit low, double action. All right, so I believe that's it. Yep. All right. Leave enough room for air on these. 357 SIG. See if I can do any better. Aim right on it. Maybe shooting a little high, and again my glasses are fogging up to where I can't see at all. Aim a little bit low. I don't know where they're hitting because I'm aiming directly on this thing. So I believe one hit, and they're hitting so fast that maybe I hit other times, I just didn't hear it. So what I'm seeing today, you know, first I'll review this 357 here. Had about the same recoil as any other 357 mag, even though it's 120 grain and it's moving at a pretty good velocity for 120 grain. It was a really pretty low recoil, to be honest. But with our 357 SIG, again, that's low recoil, but wow, that velocity, you know, that's hitting some pretty fast velocity, and I'm pretty impressed with that. And the damage we saw was really consistent from one to the other. So I mean, MDF to no MDF, one to the other. So it's a very consistent round, a very fast round. I don't know why I'm not hitting at that distance. I'm not really sure, you know, it's just probably the ammo, because traditional ammo will hit just fine where I aim. So as far as our long range accuracy, not so good, but overall the performance is good. And this is one of those really fast rounds where if you really needed to defeat a hard barrier, I'm not going to go into much detail about what it will defeat, but I think this would be one to do it and still provide something that's going to slow down in a soft material very quickly, like a hollow point would. Yet go through something harder like a full metal jacket, or even greater than a full metal jacket. So pretty good ammo. That's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.